I'm sitting here on the walls of Liberty Jail. It was here that from December 1st, 1838 to April 6th, 1839, Joseph Smith and 5 others were incarcerated. Joseph Smith and those who were incarcerated with him were visited as frequently as possible by members of the church, by church leaders, and by their family members. Each of them received visits from their wives during the time that they were here. They longed for those moments of visitation with those who they loved. Eventually, however, Latter-day Saints were driven from the state of Missouri. When visits became impossible, Joseph Smith and those who were here with him relied on the letters that were written by members of the church and by their family members. They wrote many letters themselves, which are preserved now in the history of the church. One of those letters, which was written on March 20th, 1839, was addressed to Edward Partridge and to the saints scattered abroad. In that letter, Joseph Smith wrote to the saints, giving them peace. In 1879, as Orson Pratt worked on a new edition of the Doctrine and Covenants, he extracted portions of this letter into 3 sections of the Doctrine and Covenants. Sections 121, 122, and 123 were created as excerpts from portions of this March 20th, 1839 letter. In the letter, Joseph Smith says, "We received some letters last evening, one from Emma, one from Don Carlos Smith, and one from Bishop Partridge, all breathing a kind and consoling spirit. We were much gratified with the contents. We had been a long time without information, and when we read those letters, they were to our souls as the gentle air is refreshing. But our joy was mingled with grief because of the suffering of the poor and much injured saints. But those who have not been enclosed in the walls of a prison without cause or provocation can have but a little idea how sweet the voice of a friend is. One token of friendship from any source whatever awakens and calls into action every sympathetic feeling. It brings up in an instant everything that is past. It seizes the present with a vivacity of lightning. It grasps after the future with a fierceness of a tiger. It retrogrades from one thing to another until finally all enmity, malice, and hatred, and past differences, misunderstandings, and mismanagements lie slain, victims at the feet of hope. And when the heart is sufficiently contrite, then the voice of inspiration steals along and whispers, 'My son, peace be unto thy soul.'"